Okay, so today I'm going to go over some exercises that we do with a resistance band. Talk about minimal equipment. This thing is pretty great for that. You can see some increases in tensile strength within the tissues themselves. Big thing we got to remember is that this really relies on some of the eccentric loading, as your muscles have to resist that actual band. You can get some concentric benefits of it as well, but going slowly through the eccentric phase is often the most beneficial when using these resistance bands. You essentially can use the resistance band in any exercise that you would normally use, a dumbbell or a barbell or a kettlebell or anything else. Well, not quite all of them, but some of your more basic primal patterns, your squats, your bends, your hinges, your pushes, your pulls, that kind of stuff. So that's what I'm really going to go over. Basic concepts is that the more strands of the band you have, the higher level of resistance. So this would be a single band between my hands here. This would be a single strand of that. Now I have two strands, and now I have four strands. So we keep that in mind as we go through these exercises. So I'll start kind of from the ground up. So I'll start with the deadlift, just a traditional, conventional deadlift. So I'm already standing tall and I have no resistance on the band. I've got one strand underneath my feet and I got one strand coming up. That means that this is going to be a relatively easy variation of the exercise. So if I come down, I can then stand up, do my conventional traditional deadlift as I come up and down. If I rotate, nothing changes in terms of that hinge pattern. I get to the knees, I bend the knees to close the distance to mid-shin. Keep the chest upright, shoulders back. Good active core, squeezing through the hips and glutes as I come up and through. If I want to make that more difficult, I can double it up, get two strands down there. Same idea, so now I've set that grip, and then we can go pronated, neutral, supinated grip with all of this as well. We'll just keep it neutral for now. But from there, I've got now four strands, two strands each hand. So it's going to be firmer resistance. We can widen our feet out. We can do a sumo deadlift from this position. Same idea, where now I can grab one strand to do that exercise, or I could do two strands to do that exercise. Sumo deadlift, conventional deadlift with a band. Okay, so now we'll continue through the lower body. We'll do some squats. So I'm going to stand on the band. We can do what's called a zerker squat. So I'll hold on to the band on the elbow and squat this way. So it mimics a goblet squat. I can do a front squat with the band. If you have the mobility, fantastic. Then you can really get a really good practical application out of this. We also have a back squat. Make sure we're on the shoulders, not the neck, as we're doing a back squat. While we're here, we can also narrow that stance up and do some good mornings if you wanted to. Okay, I can do some lunges, split squats, keep it back rack to start. So here's that split squat. I could do lunges this way. We can do all that stuff in that front rack position as well. We could go suitcase with both hands working. Or we can go suitcase, contralateral with one strand or two strands. Or we can do the same side and do the same stuff, right? So lots of ways that we can use the band. Those are some lower body options that we have for us, for sure. Yeah, I think I hit pretty much all of those. So next up we'll go into some horizontal pressing. So obviously we have just a regular push-up, no band needed. Those are often difficult enough for most people. So maybe you just stick with that, that's all good. Okay, for the horizontal pressing series, we want to put the band across our upper back, across the shoulder girdle, the blades. And we want to make sure, notice that I set up here, my elbows are already in that finished position, so I'm come to that end range. and then I'll come down to the ground, because then I know I have to stretch the band to get that added resistance and benefit from the band. Okay, I could then go a more challenging variation with double strings across my back. And again, I start my hands in that position, knowing I can press out to get more benefit from the band. Okay, we can also do floor press. So now I'll lay down, and just like I would with dumbbell or barbells, pressing up. We can do some alternating work here. We can glute bridge, floor press. We can do single band, single strand. So you got lots of options there in that sense, depending on how I program for you. One thing I didn't talk about is the benefit of this thing, is that it folds up, rolls up, and basically something the size of what, a pair of underwear, a pair of socks, a t-shirt. So there's no real excuse. Not to mention all the mobility benefits that you get from all of these things too. Let's go through our pulling exercises. Pulling exercises, pretty straightforward. So I've got, we can do single arm. And I'm using a single strand that's got tension on it. The other side doesn't count because it's all loosey-goosey there, bud. So then we set up and we hit our band, single arm. Now if I create tension on both bands to start, they're now equal. Then it's just increased the difficulty. So in this case, with that eccentric motion to make it more difficult, I got to control that back as it comes back, because the band always wants to go that way. I've got to fight it to make it harder. Okay, we can go bilateral rowing. I like to grab from the outside. If we go from the inside, then we're going to lose some of the options later on. So I'm going to go with just a neutral grip, like so. And bilateral rowing. I can go supinated, so palms will go to the ceiling. Bilateral row. We could even alternate our row if we wanted to, from both angles. And we can go pronated here. And then guess what? We slide this thing up. Anchor off at the top. And now we've got our lat pull down as well. So legs out straight, you can brace a bit, you can get it tighter to the wall to change the angles a little. And then you do all that same stuff. So I've got a neutral grip, supinated grip, and pronated grip. And you could hypothetically then go one arm as well. Alright, so those are all kind of the basic primal motions that you do with these. I'm sure I'm missing some, but that's okay. There's loads of stuff that you can do with these. Yeah, other than that, I think that's pretty much it. If you have any questions, let me know. Shoot me a message as always. And good luck, have fun, and all the best.